Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. You are all welcome at morning Srimad Bhagvatam class at Sri Radha Gopinath Temple, ISKCON, Radha, desh, Belgium. We are reading from 10th canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, chapter 84, where there is a description of meeting of the Vasudeva with the sages at Kurukshetra and performing the sacrifice. So this is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The subject matter of Bhagavat is ashriya, means to take shelter. And Krishna is the personality we have to take shelter of. And in this 10th canto there are 9 chapters having 2 parts, the Purav Ardha and Uttar Ardha. Purav means the first half and the second half. The second half is the pastime in Dwarka. So when Lord Sri Krishna was in Dwarka, as Dwarka desh is opulence pastime. See, pastime of Krishna are in Dwarka where they are in opulence, Aishwarya. Then there are pastime of Sri Krishna in Mathura. There's also almost 16-17 years. There's also opulence. But the pastime of Krishna in Vrindavan are more sweet and madhurya. There is only 11 years. 11 years Krishna stayed in Vrindavan. The rest 17 years in Mathura and over 90 years in Dwarka, altogether 125 years. So during the stay of Sri Krishna in Dwarka, there was solar eclipse, and as a Vedic tradition, Krishna, along with all his entourage, his whole family, he came to Kurukshetra, which was the place of pilgrimage in Dwapar Yuga. And at that time, Pandavas also came from Hastinapur to Kurukshetra. And also the Brajavasis with Nanda Baba, they also came to Kurukshetra. And the 3 chapters describe the pastime of Lord Krishna with Pandavas and with Brajavasis. And at that time, these are all kingly order came there, so saintly people, Devrishi Narad, Vedvyas and other sages were also there. So when it was the time to depart from there, Vasudeva asked, so before that there is the sages wanted to worship Krishna, and Krishna as a etiquette, as a shastriya, he was also worshipping the saintly people. And at that time, Vasudeva asked from saintly people, what is the dharma, or what is the obligation for the householders? And Rishis said 3 things. Every householder has debts to repay. And these debts are Rishi Rina. Rina means debts, and Rishi means to be saintly people. By studying the Vedic literature, we can repay that. Then there is a Deva Rina, obligation to the Supreme Lord and his assistant demigods, that can be paid by performing sacrifices. And there is a Pitra Rina. Pitra means forefathers, that only we can repay if we are householder by having son born who can continue the parampara of Vedic system. So sages says, Vasudeva, you have already fulfilled the two requirements. You have son and you have also studied Vedic literature. Therefore, you are free from these two dates. But the one date, Deva, the worship of the Supreme Lord and his assistant is still due. So immediately Vasudeva said, you said the people, I am accepting you as my priest, so please arrange for sacrifice that I should be free from this date. So this is the sign, this is the verse which we are discussing. We have to see that Vasudeva is performing yajna, fire sacrifice, to be free from the dates to the devas, to the Supreme Lord. And for that, the yajna which he is performing is for 5 days. So the first day is taking initiation into the yajna, where he is bathed with the clarified butter. It means it's called so gyaan abhishekam. And then along with his 18 wives, headed by Devaki, they all were in the arena of yajna, now sitting for starting of the yajna. So this is the verse describing. So these verses from 42 to 55. This is Vasudeva enthusiastically performed fire sacrifice. So this whole section from 42, so we are in verse number 48. So there is a description of Vasudeva sitting around the yajna vedi. Vedi means the place where the yajna is going to be performed. And for this yajna we need 16 priests, 4 primary and 4 assisting each one. So this yajna needs 16 priests there. So this is the Jyotishtoma yajna. So that is the yajna according to the Shrota or the Vedic Shruti. And this yajna type of yajna, which is Vedic yajna, is called Kartu. And when the yajna which is presently we do upon as a ritual, that is called yajna. So Kartu and yajna are the 2 words. Now this verse which we are reading, because I don't think there's a verse here which will be 51, right? So I'm reading the earlier verses. Verse number 48 says, Tabhira dukola valayai hara nipura kundalai Swalamkrtabhi vibhavo dikshito ajina samprata. Tabhir, with them means Vasudeva with his queens. And then first there is a description of the queens. Dukul. The word dukul means a cloth which has 2 borders, like a sari, like this dupatta, like dhoti is called dukul. So Krishna has stolen the only dukul of the gopis, not the undergarment or something else. Dukula, the word is dukula choram. Chor agarganyam, the best of the thief, Krishna. He has stolen the dukula choram. Dukula means a cloth which has 2 borders. So dukula means beautiful saris. And valai means the bangles, this is bangles in the hands, valai. And then there is hara. This is called hara. Hara means one which you wear around the neck and which will come up to at least chest, is called hara. And these all the flower garlands, they are also called har. So this is a har. And then nipur is the word ankle bells. They wearing ankle, which is usually of the silver. Silver ankle bells are very common. The ladies used to wear that. That's called nipur. And then kundal is in the ears. The wearing in the ears, the ornament is called kundali. Kundala. Swa alankrabhi. Swa alankabhi. Srila Prabhupada translate, and Prabhupada's disciples translate. Swa, finely, very finely, nice. And alankrati, decoration. Alankar means decoration, which is with ornaments, with cloths, with jewels. That's called alankrati. And vibhavo, shining, opulent. This is the word vibhavaso is he shone. Shone, he means Vasudeva. And then the word is dikshito, when he was initiated in the sacrifice. And the word ajino, ajin is a deer skin. This is in the seat, when we sit for meditation, there is ajina, there's a kusha, which means grass, then the deer skin, and then is a silk cloth. That is, the seat has to be like that, skin. And Sampporna means Sampporna means enwrapped. Now the translation by Prabhupada disciples, Vasudeva received initiation for 5 days sacrifice. This is a commitment. They wear a one thread here, which is a commitment that for 5 days they will follow brahmacharya, they sleep on the floor, and they eat only once, no grain. So there are some rules that is called initiation in the sacrifice. It's for 5 days. Starting from the first bath till the last bath, that is called adhbhut. That is the end of the sacrifice. So he received initiation along with his wives. 18 are counted in the verse, last verse, 47. And the primary is Devaki. And 6 Devaki's sister. And rest 11 headed by Rohini. So these are the wives. They also got initiated in the yajna. Usually yajna can be performed by grihastha, always along with wife. She has to be there. Then the yajna can be performed. Otherwise, yajna cannot be performed by grihastha. This is the compulsory. So when Ramachandra was supposed to perform yajna and Sita was in exile, so he has to make the golden Sita and he has to put the Sita next to him, then only he can perform yajna. In a marriage, in a Vedic system, there is a vow between the husband and wife that whenever they perform some rituals of a sacrifice or some worship, they should always to be together. This is a compulsory obligation for the grihasthas. So Vasudeva received initiation along with his wives, and these wives who wore silk saris, dukul, and were decorated with bangles, valya, necklace, har, ankle bell, nipuro, and earring, kundal. So these are the words as it is from the verse. With his body wrapped in deer skin. Vasudeva's body, he was wearing deer skin. They were wearing the ornaments and cloth. And therefore Vasudeva shone splendidly. He was shining. Vasudeva was shining. Chakravarti, the Laghu Bhag Vaishnava Toshmi writes, Vasudeva shone splendidly. Vibhava, like we say, Vibhava Risesh. Vibhava Risesh means it is time to sun rising. It's about to be time for sunrise, so there will be now all light around, so get wake up. So this is Vibhava, so the same word. And Sanatana Goswami writes, Vasudeva shone splendidly more than before because he was initiated, he was wrapped in deer skin. Now we are going to the next verse, number 49. Tasya Ritvijo Maharaja Ratana Kaushai Vasa Sasadasya Virejuste Yatha Vrittahano Adharave. Tasya means of Vasudeva. Ritvija means officiating priest. So the officiating priest of Vasudeva Maharaja. Maharaj means, O King Parikshata, because you also perform so many sacrifices. So now Vasudeva is also performing sacrifice. Ratana Kaushya Vasa. These priests were also having silken dhotis. Vasa means cloth. And Kaushya means silken. And Ratan means either they were having the jewelry around their neck or the cloth at the bottom has beautiful jewelry. So Ratan means jewels, the stones. So they were usually you see the priests in South India, they have golden, all the ornaments around their neck, and they are wearing the silk, because when we do puja or yajna, the silk cloth is not contaminated. Either silk or woolen cloth, no cotton cloth. For puja, this cloth is only uncontaminated. So therefore, this is silk. The priest, Ritvij, they were wearing the nice silk cloth, and one version which two of our Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami says, somewhat that the Pita Vasa, Pita means yellow, it means they were wearing the cloth which was left by Krishna, something like that. So why Vasudeva was performing this yajna actually? The one intention was to be free from the desh to the devas, but more important was to bestow devotional service to saintly people by Krishna's presence. So he wanted to give devotional service to the priest. So here the priests are well dressed in a silken cloth with jewelry and ornaments. Sa sadasya. Sa means sa sadasya, along with sadasya, the officiating members of the assembly. So along with the priest, there are so many other family members and assistant to the priest. Vrejohu appeared effulgent. Vrejohu. They all were effulgent. Yatha and now there is a comparison, an analogy given. Vrta Hana. Vrta is Vrtasura. Hana means killed. Vrtasura killed by Indra. It appears that the sacrifice, though it was not that elaborate, but it was looking as good as the sacrifice performed by Indra. So Indra, the person who can perform 100 Ashwamedh sacrifice or kartu, he is eligible to become Indra. Anybody who performs 100 Ashwamedh yajna, he is qualified to be Indra. He may be selected for Indra or not, but he has a qualification. So he performed great sacrifices. Hey, Tatoji, Dandvat Pranam, Sadhu. So this is so Indra performed so many sacrifices, and Indra is opulent. So now the Vasudeva was looking opulent like that, along with this whole paraphernalia and personalities around him. So the translation goes, my dear Maharaj Parikshat, Vasudeva's priest and the officiating members of the assembly, dressed in silk dhotis and jeweled ornament, looked so effulgent that they seemed to be standing in the sacrificial arena of Indra, the killer of Vrta. Lagu Vaishnava Toshni says, one version says Pita Kaushya Vasa. They were dressed in new clothes similar to Lord's. The other version says Ratan Kaushyavas. They were dressed and clothed with gem hanging at the edges. The simile is used to indicate that just to see this, one would become astonished because it was just like the sacrifice of Devraj Indra. And Brother Vaishnav Toshni says, same thing almost, but the other thing is, by the mercy of Vasudeva, they means priest attained perfection of bhakti as they desired. Thus they especially show, O great king, Sukdev counsel great joy. It means by the yajna or the sacrifice of Vasudeva, the priest got perfection of bhakti. So ultimately he wanted to benefit the priest also. Now the verse number 50. When this arrangement was ready for performance and yajna, some other person came and they are the real personality. Tada Ramascha Krishnascha Swaihi Bandhuvi Anavito Rejatuho Swasutai Darai Jiveshu Sa Vibhutivi. Tada, at that time, Rama, Cha, Krishna, Cha. There are two Cha and. So Rama means Balaram and Krishna means Krishna. They came sway of their own. Bandhu bhi, their relatives. Like one version says their friends were Gopas. It means Krishna and Balaram came along with the Gopas, including Nanda Baba, because they were also present at that time in Kurukshetra. And Avanito, which means accompanied. They were accompanied by their relatives, which will be Yaduvansis from the as well as Brajvasis. Rejatu Swa Sutai. Rejatu is the same word which already we have, appear brilliant. Krishna and Balaram, they were appearing brilliant along with their associate and their sons. It means Pradyumna from Rukmani, Samba from Jamavati, like the most prominent named sons of Krishna, they were accompanying. And Darai means their wives. This means Krishna's wives from Dwarka, Rukmani, Satyabhama, Jamvati, Mitravinda, Lakshmana, from Kekai desh Lakshmana and from Mother desh Naganjiti. These are the 8 principal queens of Krishna. They also accompanied with Krishna. And who is Krishna and Balaram? Jiveshu. They are the master of the living entities. They are the controller of the living entities. Jiveshu, the two lords. Jiva means all living entities, and Ishavu means the two lords. These two lords are the masters of the living entities. Swa Vibhuti Vi, they came along with their own opulences. So all these relatives are Krishna's opulences, or Krishna's opulences can be his special ornaments like couch of jewel and something which Acharyas have written. Translation. At that time, Balaram and Krishna, the Lord of all living entities, shone forth with great majesty in the company of their respective sons, wives, and other family members, who were expansion of their opulences, Vibhutiya. So, Chakravarti Pad writes, Krishna and Balaram, the Lord of all living entities, Jiveshu, they are Lord of all living entities. Because living entities are expansion of Supreme Lord through Balaram, so they are the Lord, both are the Lord. And Labhu, Vaishnu Toshni writes, two lords of the living entities, Jiveshu, like princes, are controller of the population, shown with their intimate expansion, means Krishna with his intimate expansion, with their cousins, so Bandhavai, with her wife, with their wives and with their sons, who were none different from them in form and qualities, Sutaini. They were part of themselves, or the two were in their expansion as Paramatma, the Antaryami of all Jivas. It is said in the 11th canto, Kalo Maya Maya Jiva Jiva Atmani Maya Ajay. Time merges into Sankarshan and Sankarshan merges into me, Krishna says. So Lord is superior to Antaryami, he is Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna and Balaram equally prominent. Were surrounded by the intimate friends, cowards, or by the relatives of the Yadus and friends, none than others. The wives, Darai, were naturally there eternally. Thus the word so is not necessary for them. Krishna and Balaram were the Lord of the Jivas. They were accompanied by their vibhutis. And what are the vibhutis? They had the Kautsava, Jol, and Makar Kundala, or earring. Swa vibhuti bhi. The list of the person accompanying the two brothers is in the order of increasing proximity. Now the verse which we have to recite now. Ijeno yagyam vidhina Agni hotra dilakshanai Praktarai viktarai vaikartri yagnai Dravya gyana kriyeshwaram Ijeno yagyam vidhina Agni hotradi lakshnai Prakritai vaikritai yagnai Dravya gyana kriya ishwaram Ijeno yagyam vidhina Agni hotra dilakshnai Prakritehi vaikritehi yagnai Dravya gyana kriyeshwara. Please repeat. Ijeno yagyam vidhina Agnihotra dilakshanai Prakritai vaikritai yagnai Dravya gyana kriyeshwaram Ijeno yagyam vidhina Agnihotradi lakshnai Prakritai vaikritai yagnai Dravya gyana kriyeshwaram Ijeno yagnam vidhina Agnihotradi lakshnai Prakritai vaikritai yagnai Dravya gyana kriyeshwaram Ijeno yagnam vidhina Agnihotradi lakshnai Prakritai vaikritai yagnai Dravya Gyana Kriyeshwaram. Ijeno Yagnam Vidina Agnihotradi Lakshay Prakrtai Vaikartai Yagnai Dravya Gyana Kriyeshwaram. Ije, he worshipped Ano Yagnam with each kind of sacrifice, Vidhina by proper regulation, Agnihotra by offering oblation in the sacred fire, Adi and so on, Lakshnaihi characterized, Prakritahi unmodified, completely specified by Shruti. Injections by Shruti injections. Vaikartaihi modified, adjusted according to indication of other sources. Yajnahi with sacrifices. Dravyai of the sacrificial paraphernalia. Gyana of the knowledge of mantra. Kiya and of the ritual. Ishwaram, the Lord. Translation. Performing various kinds of Vedic sacrifice according to the proper regulations. Vasudeva worshipped the Lord of all sacrificial paraphernalia, dravya, mantra, gyana, and ritual kiya. He executed both primary prakriti and secondary vaikarti sacrifices, offering oblation to the sacred fire and carrying out other aspects of sacrificial worship. So here is a purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. There are numerous kinds of Vedic fire sacrifices. So one first thing, the yajna does not only mean fire sacrifice. Like Sankirtan yajna is also yajna. Dravya yajna, giving charity, like something is also called dravya yajna. Studying literature, Vedic literature is also called Swadhyaya Yajna. So in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, there are 14 yajna. Described 14 different yajna, not fire sacrifice. They are also called yajna. And all the ultimate purpose of all yajna is knowledge. All yajna culminate in knowledge. This is 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And that knowledge can only be received through the spiritual master who is in a disciplic succession. So purpose of all yajna is to acquire knowledge. And that knowledge only we can receive from bona fide spiritual master in parampara. That is actually the purpose of yajna. But here there is a one yajna only described, that is called fire sacrifice. Agni Hotra Yajna. Agni means fire, Hotra means in which we put the clarified butter and other grains. That's called Agni Hotra Yajna. And in a Vedic civilization, there is a whole community, they are called Agnihotri. They have their surname Agnihotri because they do everyday yajna. They are called Agnihotri people. So, each of which involve several elaborate rituals. So, all the yajna are described in Vedic literature. And there is a elaborate regulation to perform and rituals to perform for the yajna. Before yajna, to make the place where they perform the yajna kund, the place for the different priests to sit, where the hota will sit. Hota is Rigved, and where the Audharya will sit with these are the name of the person who are descendant of the Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and they are these specific persons. They sit there. So this is all ritual, which is before the perform of yajna. Then the proper yajna is performed. And then there is a last ritual in between the two. So like we have, nowadays when we do Harinam Sankirtan, like Kirtan Melas or something, DD installation, we have first what we call this, today is the word which used for Sandhya is what is called Adivas. Adivas is before the proper activity we perform. It's called Adi means first. Vas means beginning of these sacrifices, Adivas. Then the proper thing. And in the end, by feast. We end it by feast generally. So these are two things. One thing is before, then the main thing, and then the culmination. So these are the different rituals of all sacrifice. For our Harinam Sankirtan sacrifice, first we have to bring the kartal, mardang and all the things together, and then we start kirtan, and this is the main yajna, and then there is a distribution of prasad. That is the culmination of the yajna. So we are doing the same yajna, which is the proper yajna for the present era. This is the current currency of Gaura Hari to perform the Sankirtan Yajna. The currency which is now you can buy something. The old currency won't work now. We may have the old currency unless if it is not of silver or gold, it has no value. The paper currency, if it is changed by the government, it has no value. So generally all these yajna which are of the past yuga, there wasn't Treta Yuga, they are not valid in this present circumstances. We don't get the pure ghee, we don't get the pure paraphernalia, we don't get the pure priestly honor who can pronounce the proper mantra. So these yajna are of no use presently. Therefore only yajna which is for us is Sankirtan Yajna. Sankirtan Yajna is the only yajna which is the yajna for this age, and which we perform properly. And the whole ISKCON movement is established by Sankirtan Yajna by Srila Prabhupada and by prasad distribution. This is what Srila Prabhupada said. First, when he landed in Pittsburgh and he was going to the New Vrindavan, those who came to receive him, accompanying him, he said, we spread this movement all over the world by two things, by sweet kirtan and by a distribution of prasad. So these are the two things for us to spread this movement all over the world. And then one day Srila Prabhupada was sitting and he said, Brahmananda, in the early days we don't have a prasad even. We were only doing kirtan. And Prabhupada said, when somebody used to come in, say 26th Avenue, and I had one apple, and I used to count how many students are there, then I had to cut the apple in that many pieces to give one piece to everybody. So somebody was thinking actually, there must be banana also, there must be grapes, there may be other fruits also. Why Prabhupada said apple only? Because apple has made a revolution in the world. Revolution in the world. Revolution? Huh? What is it called? Revolution, okay? One apple fell and Adam took and creation took place. Okay. Right? One apple fell and Newton found that apple and the law of gravity came. And the world apple music all over the world And then the real apple distributor at Prabhupada ISKCON came in existence. This is the apple. This is the apple. This is the miracle of apple actually. So one apple, simply one apple he was distributed. And then Apple computer, all this Apple, this Apple IT industries is this Apple phone, Apple computer, everything is Apple now. So Prabhupada's revolution by Apple distribution, which was his first prasad distribution. So this is interesting, actually speaking. So this sacrifice, the two things, distribute prasad and chant holy name will revolutionize the consciousness of the people. Those who are really frustrated and confused, they can be made happy and blissful by just simply doing two things, distributing holy name and distributing prasad. That is the yajna for us to perform in this age. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipped by Sankirtan yajna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has kept his blessing in Sankirtan yajna and is worshipped by Sankirtan yajna. Krishna has kept his mercy in Braj, in the holy dust of Vrindavan. Because that holy dust of Vrindavan, Krishna's mercy is in that. But Mahaprabhu's mercy is in holy name. He brought this holy name from Golokera Premadhana Harinam Sankirtan. This Harinam Sankirtan is brought from Golok, where it means in Golok, all the Gop and Gopis, they chant this Hare Krishna mantra, and by that they love and they control Krishna. Radha Hare Krishna mantra, He Radhara Tantra. Tantra means some special type of worship by which you can love and control Krishna. So this mantra is brought by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's a greatest boon for the humanity at this time. It's hardly 500 and some 22 years back this came, and this history is available. We have this history written even. So we are most fortunate that we are in the era of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this very simple method of yajna which a child can perform. This yajna which we are reading now, nobody can perform, practically speaking. Only kings can do that. Or some priestly order in their own parampara can do that. It is still going on, this type of yajna in Kerala, in Maharashtra, in Andhra Pradesh. That some are doing these yajna, but they have no result, actually speaking. No, it is not of this age. So there are numerous kind of Vedic fire sacrifice, each of which involves several elaborate rituals. The Brahman portion of the Vedas, it means each Veda, Rigved, Samved, Atharved, and Yajurved. Each Veda has 4 parts: Brahmana, Aranyaka, Santa. So there is one portion of the Veda which describes how to perform Vedic sacrifice. The other portion of the Veda describes Upanishad. They are coming in Santas. The Upanishad are coming. There is a knowledge portion. So Veda have each Veda has 4 divisions. So in a Brahmana division of the Vedas, Shrutis specify the complete step-by-step procedure of only few prototype sacrifice, such as Jyotishtoma and Darsha Purnamas. Now these are the two type of sacrifice. Yesterday I was looking about these 2 sacrifices. They are called Shrota Yajna. Shrota means they are following directly the Vedic Shrutis. Shruti means a Veda. Shruti means something which is coming only by hearing. And this is Vedic portion. They are called Shrota Yajna. And for this Shrota Yajna, this Jyotishtama, Jyoti means light. Jyoti word means light. So it is for enlightenment. Jyoti and the stoma. And there's a meaning of stoma also, which means enlightenment by some ritual. And Darsha Purnamas, this is the Yajna Grasta performed twice in a month. One is called Darsha Purnima, the other is called Darsha Omavasya. So dark fortnight and bright fortnight. And Darsh means to have a darshan or to have a audience. So they do this sacrifice regularly, Grasta, and then there is a little difference between the two. One Jyotishtma and one is Darsha Purnamas. These are the sacrifices which are Shrota, which are directly from Veda, step by step how to perform. Now, these are called Prakrita. Prakrita means natural. Now our creation, these two words are in third canto of Bhagvatam, Prakrita creation and Vaikrita creation. Prakrita creation is by Lord Vishnu and Vaikrita creation is by Brahma. You know, there are two types of creation. Prakrita creation, which is by Lord Vishnu, of the elements, 16 elements. This is coming from Vishnu. And then the transformation of all these, the creation is done by Brahma. That is called Vaikarik. Vaikar means transformation. So those were the original form of Yajna. If we make some changes, then those Yajna for certain specific purpose, then these Yajnas are called Vaikarik Yajna. Prakritik are original, Vaikarika, some adjustment are made in the Yajna for specific purposes. And there are some list of both type of Yajna. The name of Yajna and some list of Yajna is given. So, the Prakritik or original Yajna, the detail of other Yajnas must be extrapolated from the patterns of these Prakrit injections according to the strict rules of Mimamsa Shastra. Since other Yajnas are thus known by the derivation from the prototype sacrifice, they are called Vaikrita or changed. Now Chakravarti Pad writes, Vasudev worshipped Vishnu. Ijya is worship. First word in the verse is Ijya, which means worship. And he worshipped Vishnu because Yajna pushes Vishnu. And who is Vishnu? The Lord of three things. Dravya, which means paraphernalia of the Yajna. Gyana, which means the hymns or the mantra. And kiya, which means rituals. So these things, he is the master of Ishvara, controller of three things. Paraphernalia of the Yajna, mantra of the Yajna, and ritual of the Yajna, that is called kiya. By primary sacrifice such as Jyotishtma and Darsha, Purnimasa, so he worshipped Vishnu by Vedic Yajna, and also which are prescribed in detail and revealed in scripture, and by secondary sacrifices such as what are the Vaikarik Yajna, the name is Saurya and Shatra. Saurya and Shatra Yajna, which are modified in form and rule. There is one difference. In Vedic Yajna, there is a special plant. The juice of that plant is made, is called soma. And that juice is poured in the Yajna. That is a Vedic Yajna. Instead of that juice, if you use the sweet rice grain and then you pour into the Yajna, then it will be Vaikarik Yajna. That is called Shrota Yajna. So what the Yajna which we are doing sometime, offering the, some Nivedya or Prasad in the Yajna, these are Vaikarik Yajna. They are not Prakritik Yajna. So this is only the difference between the two. So the word used here is, the word Dravyam referred to the sacrificial rice cake, Prodasha, which is offered when som is not offered. So som is a juice of specific plant. that is used in sacrifice, which is Vedic one, which is not known now. But the transformation of that, which is available now, in which we put sweet rice, and that is Vaikaric sacrifice. Vaishnava Toshmi writes, Vasudeva worshipped the Lord according to the rules are described. He worshipped the Lord of material, which means dravya, mantra, which means gyaan, and ritual, which means kiya. The Bhagavan, since he alone should be worshipped. So ultimately, by all these yajna, Vasudeva worshipped Lord Vishnu. And here ends our purport to this verse. So Vasudeva was performing yajna in Kurukshetra in order to be free from the desh to the Supreme Lord and demigods. Because this is mandatory for all the grasthas. And in that yajna, he was following all the prescribed rituals, though it was Dwapar yajna, it was Dwapar yuga, and still yajna was not process. The process was worship. So he is worshipping Lord Vishnu through these paraphernalia. And in Bhagavad Gita it says, Yajna Purush is Vishnu. And everybody is advised to perform Sa Yajna along with Yajna. Sa Yajna Prajaha Sriштva. He created Yajna, demigods, and human beings. And then he said, perform this yajna, and this yajna is kama dukkha ishta kam dukkha. It will fulfill all your desires. So everybody has to perform yajna if he wants to be satisfied in his life. Then which yajna we should perform? There's another question. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says perform yajna. But it's not possible for us to perform yajna, to find out a priest, to find out the paraphernalia. It's a very costly affair. So Krishna in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita then gave us a very simple yajna which everybody can perform at all places and all times. That is in 10th chapter he says, Yajnanam japa yajnasmi sthavranam himalaya. As among unmovable things, I am Himalaya. Similarly, among all the sacrifices or yajna, my opulence is japa yajna. Therefore, for us to perform every day japa yajna, this is the greatest yajna, and it will provide everything. It will manifest Krishna, his name, his form, his pastime, his dham. Everything is manifested by this simple japa yajna, which is recommended in Bhagavad Gita. And in the Bhagavatam, at the last verse of Bhagavatam, which is the end of the Bhagavatam, that says, Nama sankirtana yasya sarva papa pranashanam. If you want to be free from all these sinful activities, then perform Nama sankirtana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Nama sankirtana. You say, oh, okay, the sinful activities are destroyed by Harinam. What is about suffering? That is the result of sinful activities. How can that be destroyed? Pranamo dukkha shamanas namami harim param. If we bow down at the lotus feet of Lord Hari, who take away all the troubles of his devotee, then all the miseries will be mitigated. Just go down. You know, we have a stand in our office to put on a paper. Everything written on a stand is, just not enough. It's just opposite. It's a mirror image, right? You cannot read this. But when you put on the paper, you can read this, right? So everything written on our forehead because of our karma is very difficult to read. But when we bow down, then it all becomes straight. No problem. Everything will be finished. The things will change. So two things. Follow the Harinam Yajna and bow down to the Supreme Lord, then perfection is guaranteed. So here we end this class. Any question or comment? Yes, Prabhu. 2, 3. Yes. Yeah, you are working.
You were telling that they means priest. They mean priest. You were telling in the class.
What is it? They.
Yeah. Is it a good understanding? They is priest.
Priest, you are saying priest?
Yeah.
It's a litvij. This word is a litvij. For priest is a litvij.
Okay.
Yeah, Dev is yajna for the Supreme Lord and demigods. Usually all these Vedic sacrifices for Indra, for Agni, for these demigods. But Prabhupada writes in all yajna, Salangram is kept, which represents Vishnu. So ultimately yajna is for Vishnu. And the remnant of the prasad of the yajna of Vishnu, the share is taken by demigods. So originally we have to worship Vishnu, which here says Ijya, worshipped with paraphernalia, dravya, with mantra, gyaan, and with ritual. To whom? Who is the master of the yajna, who is Vishnu. So Vishnu has to be worshipped, but then the prasad has to be given to the all demigods, because they also come in the yajna, in person. Today, even in Jagannath Puri, after the prasad is offered to Jagannath, it goes to the Vimla Devi, and then it comes to public. In Nandagaon, the prasad goes to the Krishna Balaram, and then it goes to Lord Shiva, Nandeshwar, and then it comes for the public. So this is some same thing. We offer, prasad to the Supreme Lord, then it goes to Prabhupada, or if there's a Garuda, or there's a Hanuman, or then it goes to them. This is typical. And I remember when I was a child, I was worshipping Radha Krishna in my family. Daily after worship Radha Krishna, we used to go to the Hanuman who was at the gate. And then we offer to the Hanuman, and then it goes to the public. So it's very simple. So yajna is for Vishnu, but the demigod also accompany Vishnu because they are his ministers. And they also get their share, which is the prasad of Vishnu. And after that, when it comes, that is Mahaprasad. Jagannath Prasad, after going to the Vimla Devi, it comes out as a Mahaprasad. So there is no problem in that. But if there is no Vishnu, only demigod worship, then it is not proper. So Deva means Supreme Lord and demigods. What is your question, Prabhu? Temur.
Prabhu, thank you very much for your class. You said that Krishna has stolen on the outer garments of the body.
Yes, this Dukulam means outer garment.
So
This is a one very common song which we sing in a special month. Chor Ashtakam. In Chor Ashtakam, what is the word used there is? Huh? Pehla kya hai? What is first? Chor Agarganyam Choram. Navanita Choram. But what is the first word? Chor Ashtakam. But Navanita means butter. He's a butter thief. Then Gopangana Nam Dukula Choram. Gopangana Nam means the damsels of the cowherd community. These are gopis. Dukula Choram. He only stole those cloth of gopis which has two borders. It says dukul choram. Doesn't say the other thing. The word is dukul choram there. Gopangananam dukula choram. Chor aganyam. Chor agarganyam. Among the thieves he is the topmost. Then what does he do? Bhaktanam of the devotees. Ananta janam papa rasi choram. He steal away the sinful impression from millions of lives of his devotees. This is the thief. He steals all the impression of sinful activities. There is also chor, agarganya. What is the first word?
I have one here. I'm seeing it is the right one. It says,
Vraje prasidam navanita choram is very famous in the Vrindavan as butter thief. Gopangananam dukula choram, and he is famous as one who steals the two-border cloth of the gopis. Ananta janamajita papa choram, and of many lifetimes sinful impression he steals of his devotees. Choragarganyam purusham namami. O best of the thief, I bow down to you. So this is dukula choram. Word is dukula. Here the word is dukula, which is for sari.
So that means he didn't steal all the clothes.
The point is, this is a very good thing to say actually, that he stole when he was 4-year-old along with the small boys. Their name of those boys, they were there. And the gopis were worshipping Katyayani Devi to get Krishna as a husband.
actually, if you go in the traditional sense, like when we were traveling in Orissa in the village, the ladies were wearing only one garment,
Okay.
only sari. No
See, in the Vedic literature it says there is a two cloth, which is dukul. One is dhoti, which a man can wear and cover his whole body. And there is a sari, which is also dukul, which a lady can wear and cover the whole body. And these are the two dresses of Vedic civilization, which has no pocket. Dhoti has no pocket, sari has no pocket. And the message is that you cannot take anything from this world with you. Therefore, be detached and live peacefully. This is the message of the sari and dhoti. And when we go to worship the deities also, we never use the stitch cloth. Only dhoti and top cloth. And the last coffin cloth is also having no stitch. It's just a cloth. So these are the 4 cloths have no stitch, which means we should be detached and live peacefully in this world. So this is called Vedic message of the dress. This is not Indian dress. This is not Indian dress if the people think like that. This is the dress of sages, those who are self-realized. They may be from any part of the world. And this dress is a spiritual dress for a spiritual consciousness, actually. You are in this dress, you are spiritually conscious. You change to the... It's like that. We are policemen, you are in a policeman dress, you have a power of policeman. If you have white coat, you are a doctor, then people will come to you and you can cut their, stomach, they don't mind. So similarly, if we have this dress, then people have a respect for this dress, because this dress is a spiritual dress. It is not Indian, it is a spiritual dress. It is a dress which helps us to understand the science of soul.
But how do you manage in the cold weather?
What mother said?
How do you manage cold weather?
How do?
If
How
the
do you
weather is
manage,
cold.
how do you manage in the cold weather?
On the North Pole, they have no spiritual dress.
So they have, our Indra Prabhu lived in Vrindavan, he never wear any stitch cloth. Our Indra Prabhu never wore any
Police also, when I was...
because they wrap the shawl or kambal all over the body. which is unrestricted. They wear all. The sadhus, sadhus don't wear these stitch cloth. Generally, they wear. The rule is that when after you obeisance to the deities, there should be no cloth on the chest. The kurta should not be there. Therefore, mothers are not allowed to have shastra and pranam. They cannot touch this part to the earth. But Mother Earth don't like sadhu sitting without asana, mother's chest touching ground. The paraphernalia of worship cannot be put on the floor. This is a rule. So mothers, they have to cover this place. But when we offer obeisance, we have to take out kurta.
In South India, before you were not allowed in
Yeah.
South Korea.
Yes.
To support anything.
What is your question, Prabhu?
I have a technical question. It's not so sweet as your answers, but I have a question about the Shrauta tradition, and particularly tradition in the south of India and Goa, where there's still people who practice the Vedic Shrauta sacrifices, not the royal ones, but just the household sacrifices. And my question is, do they, at the present time, do they worship Vishnu in some form? Do they use Shalagram sometimes? Or are they a completely Mimamsika atheistic kind of thing?
But I was looked last night, but I found that this type of Shrot sacrifice is in Kerala, some part of the Kerala, in Andhra Pradesh, somewhere in Maharashtra, but in a priestly order they do it. And they do it mostly for the demigods. They might be putting Salagram, I don't know. I don't know.
It's not very popular.
It's a different yuga, so it's no need. There's no need of this. Since there is this, therefore I just said we have to do Sankirtan Yogi and then result will come.
And maybe just clarification, is the way we do sacrifices in ISKCON, where is the square in the middle?
That's called Yagya Kunda.
Yeah, Yagya Kunda we do. Is it similar to what they do, or is it completely different?
This is Vaikaric, this is modified.
Oh, it's modified.
This is modified according to the time and circumstances. And usually we just, in this sacrifice, offer the oblation to our deities and to our parampara. Generally, this is what we do. Very simple, very simple. So Prabhupada has a purpose that it should be according to time and place and circumstances. So you say in a Western world, we have to change the things because they are not as in India. The season is not like that. And we put in this season, chandan to our deities, but you cannot put here. It's already cool. So you cannot do that here. It's not practical. So we have to be practical. I have some joke I remember. Some young boy, he went to some saintly person and he was serving him so nicely. So he blessed on the boy. And boy came back to home and he was very opulent and he got, good life. So next door neighbor said, how you get all these benefits? He said, I serve the saintly people. He said, what do you do? He said, with cold water, I was giving him bath. Then I am giving him cold, juice to drink. And then I used to fan him. So next person went to the saintly person and it was winter. And he said, I have to give you bath and cold water, then I have to give you cold juice and then I have to fan you. So the saintly person was almost dead, so how can he bless him? So he came back and said, I did not get anything. Say, I did this in a summer, not in winter. You should have asked the next question. So simply we cannot repeat like that, it's not possible. We have to be, according to the time and circumstances. In our all malas, you have seen, we have 20, we keep the 4 up. Actually, we have to chant 60 form rites. This is the standard of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. But Prabhupada saw that Western people cannot do that. So he just changed the system. Acharya can do that. He can do that. So there are things which can be adjusted.
In reality, they chant 4 these days.
Huh?
The Gaudiya Math chants 4 rounds usually these days.
This is only 4 rounds. Okay, we end it. Gatraj Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai